In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Hello everybody, how are you doing? We'll be doing great by the mercy and grace of Almighty Allah. My name's NA Saqib. I'm your arts mentor, IELTS trainer. Additionally, been also teaching the students of spoken English for the last 20 years at the platform of Genius Institute, Lahore. Dear friends, my today's lecture would be about IELTS Writing Task 2. And you know, it's an essay, and we'll be talking about its conclusion today. No introduction, no body paragraph. Today, our main focus will be its conclusion. And I will give you the quick tips how to write an effective conclusion, by the way. So this lecture of mine today will help you write an effective conclusion for your IELTS Writing Task 2 questions. It is not only for the academic candidates, it is also a useful lecture for the journal training candidates. So the both categories can benefit from this lecture. As far as IELTS Writing Task 2 and its conclusion is concerned, it's the easiest paragraph. Before writing conclusions, you have already written introduction, where you put your first impressions, and then you wrote the body paragraphs. They were 2 or 3, depended on the nature of the question. And now you are going to write down the conclusion. It must be having wonderful, strong last impressions for the examiner, because examiner will be reading it in the last, and it will be the last thing the examiner will be reading. So it must be impressive in many ways, and it must avoid many common mistakes which are committed by majority of the students who are appearing in IELTS. So we'll be talking about all those quick tips later on, and let's start having a bit of introduction of this conclusion. What are the basics of this conclusion and what you should be doing in conclusion? As I told you that it is the easiest of all the paragraphs. Why? Because in many ways you are just using the ideas you've already mentioned in your introduction and body paragraphs. As I told you that it is going to give you a last impression to the examiner, so it is essential for your band scores. Therefore, it is also crucial that you finish very strongly by giving very good last impressions to the examiners, and you're going to impress him by writing the conclusion. When you will be writing the conclusion, you most probably won't be having a lot of time remaining, and what you should be doing, you must practice to write conclusions and learn to write quickly. This is important for writing conclusions. Now, there are some quick tips. The first tip would be never write any new ideas in your conclusion. Yes, of course, no new ideas. The place of the new ideas is the body paragraphs. Actually, you can say whatever you want to say, but within that limitations which I've been mentioning. For example, in every body paragraph there should be a topic sentence, then there should be explanation to the topic sentence, and then there should be an example, an opinion likewise, as it is important. So the new ideas can be put forward by the test taker in the body paragraphs. Conclusion is not a place where you are propounding the new ideas. Otherwise, you will be penalized. As far as the second quick tip is concerned, make sure you answer the question in the conclusion. Yes, you actually summarize the entire essay. You summarize the introduction and the body paragraphs in the conclusion, and you should express what you think and feel to be important regarding the issue. And the next tip would be vary your language. Change your language. The language should be used differently here. different in a sense that the words you've been using in the entire body paragraphs and the entire essay, introduction as well, including. So you shouldn't revise or repeat those words. You must, keep on changing your words so that the examiner may understand that you have lots of relevant vocabulary in your arsenal. So, my dear friends, it's important not to repeat the words. Some people do this blunder. They repeat the words again and again and again. This is really harmful in acquisition of the band scores. So, just because you are restating the ideas you have expressed in the above building blocks of your essay, building blocks means introduction, body paragraphs, you've expressed your ideas, you are gonna restate those ideas, doesn't mean you use the same language. Instead, you show the examiner you have a wide range of vocabulary, because you will be given the marks in the context of wide range of vocabulary, which is known as lexical resource. So you have to paraphrase the vocabulary. It is not only the conclusion where you're going to use the new words. Actually, you have to see the whole essay should not have the repetition of the words. You keep on changing the words, use different words. Vocabulary is important because it constitutes 25% of your band scores. So you must take care of the lexical resource very importantly. Don't try to include the next step. Don't try to include everything. Just summarize. You're not required to go into detail in the conclusion. You've already done that in your main body paragraphs, so there is no need to repeat the words and give new ideas here in the conclusion. Instead, you will just summarize your main points. But it's important knowing about the skill of summarizing your entire body paragraphs. So must have a lot of practice for doing all that stuff. In this way, you'll be able to present a very comprehensive summary. The next quick tip would be always write one. You can't skip your conclusion, otherwise you will be penalized by the examiner. Maybe you are in a hurry, maybe you're short of time, maybe you have written your entire body paragraph, you've spent a bit of time in planning, and you have also executed everything according to the planning. But here there is no you can't have any margin of leaving the conclusion. It's important. So it's very difficult to get a good band scores in task 2 if you haven't finished your essay with the conclusion. Maybe you're running short of time. Still, make sure that you write one. You can't skip it. There are some linking phrases which are used, but which sometimes they're misused because they're not appropriate to be used for writing an effective conclusion. I would just mention 3 or 4 of them which are misused. They shouldn't be used for the conclusion, and then I will give you some wonderful conclusion linking words which you can use and make your conclusion very effective one. For example, lots of people use finally for writing conclusion. This is utterly wrong. Finally actually maybe is suitable for writing the body paragraph and giving the final statement or final argument or final opinion. This is not suitable for writing conclusion at all. It seems that you are making a final point and therefore a new idea by using finally. Moreover, it belongs to the main body of your essay, not the conclusion. Sometimes people use in a nutshell. It's too informal, by the way, and we should never use it in IELTS conclusions. And sometimes people use in general. It seems as if you are making some sort of general statement at the end, but you are not supposed to do so. You are supposed to use good academic or formal linking words for writing your conclusions effectively. So the question arises, what are the words which can be used for writing an effective conclusion? To conclude, in conclusion, to summarize, to economize, in summary, or to recapitulate. So these words can really impress the examiner and fetch you good band scores, by the way, personally speaking. Rather publicly speaking. And how to write a good conclusion? There should be two things which are really indispensable for writing a good conclusion. Number one is summarize the main points of your essay. This is important. And second one is vary your vocabulary by paraphrasing. Shouldn't be repeating those words and restating those ideas, hodgepodge in hodgepodge manners. So you must be very clear about your conclusion, and your conclusion must review the discussion above in the essay. So do it in brief, only 2 or 3 sentences, not more than that. And if you fail to have a conclusion, fail to write a conclusion, it means you haven't met with the requirements of the task response. And task response is one of the main features for granting you the band scores. One of the 4 things, what the task response, coherence and cohesion, grammar, lexical resource. So task response will not be met with if you are leaving or skipping your conclusion. And moreover, you will be penalized for missing a conclusion in your IELTS essay. That is task 2 for your writing module. My dear friends, that's it. I wanted to talk about today actually the effective methodology of writing your conclusion. And I hope you would have made the notes for all that stuff which I've mentioned in the lecture. I'll see you with another published video. Until then, take care of yourself and bye-bye.